From the Hindu Kush to the Rockies, a journey from Kabul to Colorado in community-led transformation, a memoir of resilience, advocacy, and transformation by Homayun Milad. Episode 23. Navigating Afghanistan's cultural landscape. Afghanistan is not merely a geographical landscape. It is a living, breathing mosaic of traditions, relationships, and governance structures that have shaped its people for centuries. To navigate its local and cultural dynamics is to step into a world where every interaction carries layers of meaning, where community is both a foundation and a force of resilience, and where progress must be woven into the fabric of heritage rather than imposed upon it. I first encountered these intricate dynamics while working in rural Afghanistan, advocating for agricultural reform that honored local traditions while fostering sustainable change. It was in the fields, among farmers debating the future of their crops, that I learned the true essence of negotiation, not through formal contracts, but through shared understanding built over generations. The unspoken rules of engagement dictated success or failure. Conversations did not start with figures or proposals. They began with trust, with a mutual recognition that tradition was not a barrier to progress, but a guide for navigating it. The challenge of sustainable development in Afghanistan is not just technical or economic. It is deeply cultural. Modern interventions that overlook the power of local governance structures, such as development councils, DDAs, and community development councils, CDCs, often fail to gain traction. The most enduring agricultural initiatives are those that integrate these frameworks, ensuring that rural communities do not merely receive aid, but actively shape their own futures. Through my work with farmers' field schools, cooperatives, and producer groups, I have witnessed the transformation that occurs when local voices lead the conversation. The preservation of high-value traditional crops is not simply about market expansion. It is about identity, about the pride that comes with reclaiming ancestral knowledge and adapting it to contemporary challenges. It is about standing at the intersection of past and future and choosing a path that allows both to coexist. This book is an invitation to see Afghanistan not as a place of insurmountable complexities, but as a nation built on systems of wisdom, collaboration, and resilience. It is a guide for those seeking to engage with Afghan communities, not through rigid development models, but through an approach that listens, adapts, and respects. At its core, sustainable change in Afghanistan is not about replacing what exists. It is about strengthening the roots of its people, ensuring that their traditions remain the foundation upon which progress is built. This journey through the cultural and local dynamics of Afghanistan is one of patience, partnership, and a deep appreciation for the histories that continue to shape its future. At the heart of Afghanistan's enduring resilience lies a complex yet deeply structured social fabric, woven through relationships, customs, and a shared sense of collective identity. Communities are not merely geographic clusters. They are intricately bound networks of kinship, responsibility, and unwritten codes of conduct that have shaped Afghanistan's approach to governance, conflict resolution, and social cohesion for centuries. The village is more than a place of residence. It is the foundation of Afghan society, where trust supersedes formal agreements and where decisions emerge through consensus rather than decree. The Jirga and Shura, traditional councils of elders, are the bedrock of community governance, ensuring that disputes are settled with fairness and collective wisdom rather than bureaucracy. These informal yet highly effective systems have long been the true architects of stability, often succeeding where external governance frameworks struggle to take root. Yet navigating these local dynamics requires an understanding that Afghan social interactions operate within nuanced, unspoken rules. Relationships often dictate access to resources, opportunities, and even influence. The strength of one's bonds with family, tribe, and locality determines their ability to mobilize support or negotiate change. Loyalty is sacred, but it is not static. Shaped by evolving circumstances, political shifts, and generational transitions. Equally central to Afghanistan's cultural landscape is the tradition of hospitality and reciprocity. The concept of nanawatai, the act of offering sanctuary even to those who once stood in opposition, is a defining marker of Afghan identity. To offer protection or assistance is not simply a gesture of goodwill. It is a moral obligation, an act rooted in dignity and respect that reinforces the interconnectedness of communities. These dynamics extend beyond governance and hospitality into everyday life, influencing commerce, diplomacy, and even resistance to external pressures. The Afghan oral tradition, where history and wisdom are passed through poetry, proverbs, and storytelling, ensures that identity and heritage remain intact, even amidst political turbulence. The lessons embedded in these narratives guide moral principles, shaping how individuals engage with both tradition and change. To work within Afghanistan's cultural and local realities is not to impose new structures, but to engage with what already exists, to understand how social bonds create pathways for collaboration, and to respect the invisible yet powerful dynamics that govern interactions. Recognizing the strength of these traditions is essential for anyone seeking to engage meaningfully, whether in governance, development, or grassroots partnerships. Modernizing local and cultural dynamics. The role of community development councils and district development assemblies. Afghanistan's local governance has long been defined by tradition, where community-based decision-making, customary councils, and interpersonal relationships shape the direction of social and economic progress. Over the centuries, shuras and jirgas have served as the primary mechanisms for resolving disputes, coordinating communal efforts, and ensuring collective well-being. While these structures have fostered resilience, they have also struggled to adapt to the demands of modernization, often leaving communities disconnected from broader national development initiatives. The introduction of community development councils, CDCs, and district development assemblies, DDAs, marked a significant turning point in Afghanistan's governance framework. Unlike external interventions that impose change, these institutions have modernized local governance while respecting deeply embedded cultural traditions. Instead of dismantling existing systems, CDCs and DDAs have formalized and strengthened Afghanistan's indigenous approaches to decision-making, creating a bridge between traditional authority structures and the mechanisms of contemporary development. CDCs, modernizing governance through local empowerment. At their core, CDCs have institutionalized grassroots democracy, ensuring that decision-making processes are structured, inclusive, and accountable. These councils have redefined the way communities interact with both local governance and development efforts by integrating traditional customs into formal structures. Before their introduction, community leadership was often dominated by elders and influential figures. While such authority ensured stability, it excluded broader representation, particularly women and younger generations. With CDCs, decision-making has expanded beyond hereditary or tribal influence, opening doors for greater participation. Women, youth, and marginalized groups now have a defined role in shaping community projects, overseeing development funds, and advocating for local needs. This shift has modernized Afghanistan's cultural dynamics, embedding principles of collective agency, transparency, and participatory governance into everyday life. CDCs have also reinforced self-reliance at the village level, ensuring that communities, rather than external entities, determine their priorities. Whether focusing on infrastructure, education, or resource management, CDCs have allowed villages to develop strategic plans based on their lived realities rather than imposed mandates. This has preserved Afghanistan's traditional communal leadership while modernizing its approach to governance, ensuring that historical ways of organizing society remain relevant in the contemporary era. DDAs, expanding governance beyond local boundaries. While CDCs have strengthened village-level governance, district development assemblies, DDAs, have expanded these efforts to a broader, regional scale. In Afghanistan's governance history, local councils operated in relative isolation, with villages often engaging in independent decision-making without regional coordination. DDAs have transformed this system, creating an interconnected framework where multiple communities collaborate on development projects, resource management, and policy implementation. DDAs have modernized Afghanistan's grassroots governance by ensuring that local decisions align with broader provincial strategies. This shift has addressed long-standing issues of fragmentation, where communities previously lacked the mechanisms to coordinate infrastructure development, trade agreements, or conflict resolution efforts beyond their immediate surroundings. Another transformative impact of DDAs has been their ability to standardize governance practices while maintaining local autonomy. Rather than enforcing a rigid, centralized model, DDAs allow communities to apply their customs and traditions within a structured planning process. This approach has helped modernize cultural dynamics by strengthening the legitimacy of local governance structures while ensuring they remain adaptable to contemporary development needs. We'll continue this story in the next episode, so stay tuned.